Hello, we are here with Hannah Lindsey, 17-year-old junior at Pickerington North and long time member at Messiah Lutheran Church. Someone I've had both the honor of confirming and being part of her baptism too. So someone I've known all her life. Hannah, welcome.
Thank you.
We've been doing these discussions about how we live faithful lives and how we're living now and what we think transformation looks like. And we've been starting with baptism with everybody. And so why don't you tell us what you remember about baptism, what you think about baptism, what you think happened, and what's the promise there?
Okay. When I was baptized, I was a baby, so it wasn't like my choice. My parents obviously did it for me. That was what they chose to do. And from what I understand, they chose to do that because they wanted to make a promise kind of to, I think, like everybody and God, that they would continue to let me grow in faith and in Christ. So, and that's what I like kind of understand, I guess, about baptism for everyone is it's a way of like affirming your faith and affirming that you will continue to grow, or that, you know, you will help your child grow depending on when it happens.
What do you think happens in baptism? Do you think anything changes?
I think that with like the water is like a symbol. So I wouldn't say that anything like super changes, obviously, but I think it's like a way of obviously you were born and kind of being born again into the church and into Christianity, like into your faith. And that's like kind of God washing over you and starting you on this new path, I guess.
And then you actually chose later on to be baptized again. That's what you told me in this story.
It happened again. It was kind of like a spur of the moment thing. I only like I don't remember a whole lot. Obviously, I was 6 or 7 or 8 years ago or something, but you know, someone who I was with at the time, you know, my age, was doing it, and I was at her church, and so I just kind of decided to do it too. And it was just kind of like a thing, and, you know, dunk you in the water and then get back up. It wasn't even a part of the service. It was like after, but it was, you know, I chose to do it. And that was when it didn't take anything away from like my first baptism. It was just kind of like a reaffirming, I guess, is how I would think of it.
Reaffirming. Yeah. That's how I would think of it too. And then you reaffirmed your baptism again here with us, right? At Messiah.
Yeah.
What do you remember about that day?
Well, I guess a lot more, you know, as older. It's kind of, you know, just as I go older, doing it, I guess but by that time I was more knowledgeable of, you know, my faith, and it's, you know, had been years. So it was more meaningful than, you know, any other time. And it was like super important to me. And it was kind of like a celebration that like, this is still like, I'm still going, I'm still traveling in faith, and I'm actually choosing to do it for myself and not just, you know, because I have to come to church or whatever.
Yeah. And one of the reasons I'm asking you to do this is because you, in my estimation, you just live a real faithful life. You're integral to who we are at Messiah. What are some of the things that you think about you that make you faithful to God?
Well, I really try to give like a conscious effort to be faithful, and I think it's really hard at my age to be faithful, and I think that's why I have to give such a conscious effort, because there's so many negative things that surround you, and so like a lot of pressures that come onto you, you know, just like normal teenage pressures, but when you're a teenager they're pretty big. And just different things like that. And so with those pressures though, I think also helps because then I have someone to go to and I can ask God for help. I can ask him for um like help me be calm or help me, kind of help de-stress me, I guess. So it's just a way that I found to continue to do that and to help me walk through life um happy, I guess, and not, bitter.
The yeah, and then you're surrounded by people of faith, right? I mean, you grew close to Pastor Liz when she was here.
Yeah. I definitely am surrounded by a lot of people, especially in my family and a lot of my friends, honestly. And Pastor Liz was such like a big part because she was here while she was here was sort of the time that I was growing up. And I mean, I'm still growing up, but like growing up and like choosing to kind of follow faith myself, because I've been going to church for 17 years and it's always been like a routine for my family, but actually understanding what it means and choosing to do it myself. And she was like a huge part of that, just like ginormous. And she is easy to talk to, and she's a woman, pastor, which is like a super big thing for me. And so yeah, she was like a really big part in helping me grow.
The Why do you think your parents, one of the delightful things about the way you've been raised in the church is the commitment that Leslie and Tuggo, your parents, and Anthony have made to bringing you to church. Why do you think it's so important to them for you to be active in the church and a part of it?
Well, I know that my mom started at least going to this church a little bit before I was born. So it wasn't even like a whole family type of thing. It was, they had already been going. And it's obviously really important to my grandma. Um, it's kind of her and then my parents and stuff. It's a thing that we're all doing together. And, it's not like a whole family thing, I guess. It's just sort of us. And I think that since it's so important to them, that obviously they wanted it to be important to me too, or like to show me, this is how great it is. And it's not like, they never like forced me to, do it or anything. I mean, obviously when I'm a kid, I can't stay home alone and I can't skip church and everything, but it was never like, if you're not Christian, then, we don't, support you. It was just like, this is what we love and this is kind of how we want you to love.
What do you think brings God the most joy?
I would say what brings God the most joy is when we're all God's children. So when we support each other and when we love each other unconditionally, despite everyone's differences. I mean, everybody has differences. You're not going to find someone that you don't have something, some sort of difference with. But when we all support, especially in times of need, when one person is struggling and you lift them up, I think that's like what would probably bring him the most joy.
Yeah. What do you think disappoints God? What do you think God shakes his fists at us at?
Probably like the exact opposite. When we let our differences get ahead of us and let them kind of run our lives to the point where there's so much hatred in the world. And, obviously we've seen that happen so many times, but, even recently, and different things can, split that up, like difference in religion or difference in political view or difference in like view on sexuality or anything like that. And it can like severely drive people apart, even in families or friendships or anything. So I think that would probably be the most painful for him to watch.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I agree with you. I wonder, so as you are, you're 17, you're going to be going to college soon, and maybe away to college and maybe out. Tell me about finding a church home after Messiah then? What that search is going to look like? Is it going to be important to you? What are the things you're going to be thinking about?
I don't think any church is going to be as influential on me as probably Messiah was, because my entire life, we've been going here. And I've gone to other churches. I've gone to like my grandma's Baptist church. I've gone to non-denominational. I've gone to like huge churches, small churches, different denominations, different, and obviously this is like my home church. But it will be important for me if I do move away, or when I move away, to still continue to grow in faith. And I can't do that by just not going to church. I mean, I could, but it's important to me to still have that community. So that would be like what I'm searching for, is a community that I will get along with and that will support me and I can support them.
And how do you think that might happen? How do you envision, 19-year-old Hannah at on Sunday morning? How do you think that happens?
Probably, if I'm moving to an entirely new place and I'm starting different classes or doing whatever with new people, probably through like meeting new people. If I have friends and, maybe trying to find some people that will direct me in the right way. And because I know, like I visited my cousin in college and I know they have a church there and like on campus, and I know there's, one surrounding. So it's something like that to think about. And, but probably through people, because that's such a big part, is getting along and, having these people that really will support you. And so I think that the easiest way, or the most reliable way, would be through peers or, guidance somehow.
Yeah. Oh, last question. What do you think you do? What do you think you do well that makes you faithful? Yeah.
I think what I do well, I don't think of a lot of things that I do well. That's not really what I like go to, but I would say like what I'm best at and like what I do well is like through prayer, talking like one-on-one. And I think that has been like has helped me like jump to, being as faithful as I try to be. And I think it's because it's I don't have to go to church to pray. I don't have to sing. I mean singing is like a huge thing, and that is like a form of prayer for me, but it's like I don't have to go to church in order to do it. I don't have to be with a bunch of people in order to do it. It's something that you can do no matter what, at any time. And I've like really tried to make a conscious effort to do it as much as I can and whenever I need to. And I think it's helped.
I think if I was answering the question, and that's a great answer. If I was answering the question for you, I think you have a beautiful, tender heart that's welcoming to people and kind, and I'm sure that delights God.
Thank you. I try.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. Thanks, Hannah. I appreciate you spending time with us today. Bye-bye.
Of course.